I built over 2,200 landing pages and generated over $25 million online. This is going to be 13 landing page tricks that you can use to generate more leads for your business instantly. Number one is going to be the pre-headline. This is one of the most overlooked areas in any sales page. The reason this is so important is because very likely this is going to be the first thing that your prospect or website visitor reads when they land on your landing page. And what most people do is they don't even have one of these things, and they wonder why they're getting all of these unqualified leads through their sales funnel. And what we like to do is use this pre-headline to call out exactly who we're looking for. But we're not just trying to call out and say, hey coaches, or hey real estate agents, or hey fitness gurus. We're saying who they are and what their pain point is. For example, in this one, you can say, I said, for coaches, consultants, agencies, and service-based businesses looking to build a personal brand and generate 5 to 10 qualified sales calls a day. So already in the pre-headline, I've identified the avatar, as in coaches, consultants, agencies, service providers that I work with, then what they want, which is generating 5 to 10 qualified sales calls a day. So if people aren't looking to do that, then they shouldn't consume this page. And then I talk about building a personal brand, because that's the way that we do it. We show clients the same media system that we use to generate literally dozens of qualified sales calls a day. Actually, that's why I shoot these videos right here. And so I say, looking to build a personal brand, because there are some people who don't want to build a personal brand. They just want to run ads, or they want to do cold email. And it's a lot easier on our sales process later on if we're not having to convince people that the cold email is a terrible way to grow their business, and to stop being so scared, because if you don't have a personal brand, you're going to lose out to those that do. So just in this pre-headline right here, I am making sure I'm essentially detracting, or I'm scaring away all of the people that aren't going to be my ideal avatar, and I'm trying to draw towards me all the people that are going to be the ideal avatar. The other important note about this is that if you don't do this stage here, and you're looking at the rest of your funnel stats and you say, man, I can't get enough leads opting in, or I can't get enough qualified book calls, or even your close rates, the problem is that you might not have the right qualifiers earlier on, and so you're getting all of the worst people going through your funnel. So this is one of the most important lines in any sales funnel. The second trick here is going to be pattern interrupts for some of the largest benefits that you offer. So if you can see right here, I just circled them, but I have highlighted in the website the biggest benefits that working with me can do. So it can help people raise their prices, close more dream clients, increase profits, and become an industry leader. So why do I add pattern interrupts? Well, that's because what people typically do when they land on a landing page is they just immediately scan. So they just look up and down the whole thing within, like, let's say half of a millisecond, and they are able to get their eyes drawn to essentially things that are pattern interrupts. And so what most people do is they don't even have a pattern interrupt. So it's all just one big block of text. And so someone's trying to decide right here if they should continue on this page, or if they should bounce off and leave the page entirely. So if I can highlight and get that pattern interrupt on the areas that I know that they're really going to be interested in doing, like raising their prices, closing more dream clients, increasing profits, and becoming an industry leader, well, they're going to probably say, okay, now let me read the rest of the words around that. Let me read the rest of the words on this page. So whether it is bolding the text and keeping the other text unbold, whether it's capitalizing it, whether it's doing all uppercase, whether it's underlining it, or whether it's highlighting it, try to always pull out for that pattern interrupt the biggest benefits that you offer. The third trick is going to be what I call a unique mechanism. And in this example on my sales funnel here, it says a self-sustaining funnel. So a unique mechanism is essentially the way that you deliver results for your clients. What is the way that you do that? What's the mechanism used? For some people, it's Facebook groups. For other people, it's appointment setters. For me, it is a self-sustaining funnel. Now, if you've never heard of that term, then it's because I frankly made it up. I created a term in my industry that now other people use. And the reason why it's important to create a unique mechanism is because when people are thinking of working with you, or just in this example here, if they're thinking of consuming the rest of the content on this page, which is what you want them to do, they need to feel like this is unique. This is something they haven't heard of in the past. If they land on this page and I just say something like YouTube videos or Instagram or something along those lines, they might think, well, I already know all the answers to that. I already know everything about that. Let me just hop off of this page. But when I throw in new words that are unique, they're going to be, well, what is a self-sustaining funnel? Let me learn more. The other added benefit of a unique mechanism is that if they do come in here, they consume all the content, and they say, wow, I really want the self-sustaining funnel, let me go Google it and figure out how to do it on my own. Well, they can't, right? Because I created the word myself. Now, I'm not just making up words to make up words. The self-sustaining funnel truly is what we use to generate tens of millions of dollars and what we've helped our clients use to generate millions of dollars for their businesses. And so it does really, really work. And it's called self-sustaining because we create content one time and it generates us leads, calls, and sales for years to come. So I didn't just grab it totally from the ether. It makes sense when you consume the rest of the content inside of here. So you want to be using unique terminology. Another example of this here is today's trust recession. So it's pretty funny, trying to sound as humble as possible. I'm kind of an industry leader inside of my industry. And so whenever I start using terms like trust recession and the 7-11-4 rule, I start seeing literally every YouTube video reference it. It's hilarious. The sales pages, the funnels, everything I want. Actually, you right now watching this video that took it and borrowed it from me. I'm totally fine with it, right? But the market is small. And so people know who were the originators of these terms. And so if you use the same words as everybody else, then you're going to look like everybody else. But if you are the one that's bringing new terminology to your industry, then you're going to be an industry leader, that by very definition of that. And the trust recession, it's not like I came up with the whole word the two words trust recession together, but I did see an article about, I think it was like, it was something about wedding venues or something like that in a totally different industry. And they talked about trust recessions and it hadn't been talked about in my industry. And so I pulled it in closer. I did a lot of reading and a lot of research. So even just the unique mechanism of self-sustaining funnel and the trust recession, in full transparency, that was weeks and weeks of brainstorming and researching to come up with those two words there. But those two words become like almost like the cornerstone of my entire marketing campaign. It's what separates me from everybody else, and it makes sense. If you think, everybody knows, yeah, we are in a trust recession. Technically, according to the General Social Survey, we're at the lowest point of person-to-person trust in the last 40 years. And so in this very fact, in those two words, trust recession, I can now say something that makes sense to you, but you had never heard of it before, which is why you're going to trust me to continue reading the sales page. Trick number 4 is going to be very clear instructions, okay? So you can see right here, it says watch the video below, okay? And then down here it says tap play and watch the video above. Another way I see this on some landing pages or sales pages, if it says step 1, do this, and step 2, do this. People like to be told what to do. People don't like to think that much. And so if people are trying to figure out what the next step is when they get on the page, you assume they already know. But you'd be surprised how many people don't actually know. Or even if they do know, they don't want to use any brain power in order to do any work. And so I'm saying watch the video below here, and I'm saying tap play and watch the video above. And I'm also saying this because I want them to watch the video, obviously, because if they watch the video, they have a way higher likelihood of becoming a lead, becoming a call, and eventually becoming a sale, versus if they just don't watch the video and then maybe try to speak to my sales team or message me on Instagram later. So I know this video converts, so I'm trying to push people to this video. So if you're on your landing page and you land on it, and you were to put, let's say, a third grader, would they know exactly what the next step is going to be? And if they don't, then you need to make clearer wording, either step 1, watch the video, step 2, apply to work with us, or in a little bit more of a branded sense, you can literally just say in the sentence, watch the video below to learn how we can XYZ. Speaking of talking to third graders, let's talk about trick number 5, which is to use the Hemingway app, which is a free website where you can actually figure out the level of the reading level of your words. And that's important because trick number 5 is to use simple words. You know, I use words here like help, install, simple, streamline, content, system, raise prices, close, clients. Like, so there's a few, when I first wrote this, I had a few more sophisticated words in there because I thought, well, if it's sophisticated words, it'll make me look fancier. It'll attract smarter people. But just like I talked about a moment ago, you're just going to be confusing people that aren't as smart as you, which is not what you want. And you're also going to be causing people that are as smart as you to have to work harder, which is also not that smart. Whether it is going to be on my landing pages, on my sales pages, in my email sequences, in an automation, on my sales pitch, whatever else it is, I either put it through the Hemingway app to try to bring it to a 3rd to a 5th grade reading level, or even better than this is I created my own ChatGPT prompt that I can put any words into, and it shortens the language and it simplifies it, which is, I guess, the other bonus step here on number 5 is if you can try to shorten language as much as possible. So a lot of people ask me, like, how do I come up with these headlines or pre-headlines, et cetera, et cetera? And a lot of the time it's just I kind of come up with, it's almost like a sculptor. I come up with this much uglier wordier, more confusing block of text, and then I'm just continuously going back to ChatGPT and reiterating and reiterating, and I'm trying to simplify it further and further and further and further until I'm like, wow, a third grader could probably understand this, okay? And that's when I know that I have the final thing. So just like a sculptor, I start with this huge block of stone, and then just over and over and over again at the very end, I end up with this beautiful chiseled masterpiece. Trick number 6 is going to be this right here, which is what I call a curiosity thumbnail. So a lot of people will put their thumbnail of their video as something either super ugly or super boring, or even worse, a little bit of both. And what you'll notice on a lot of video analytics tools like Wistia or Vimeo or any of the other ones that you typically embed to put on a sales page is that it will tell you what's known as play rate. What percentage of people that land on this page play the video? Now, this has to do with a bunch of different factors, including probably first and foremost how much text is on the page. We've seen multiple times a direct correlation with the amount of text on the page and the decrease in the play rate. If you have nothing but literally a video on there, you're going to have a super high play rate. If you have a video and a bunch of text around it, it's going to be lower. And then if you have like a whole sales page worth of like scrolling and scrolling of text, then it's going to be like 10 to 15%. And what we also noticed was that if we had interesting looking or curiosity driven thumbnails, we had a higher play rate. So instead of having a thumbnail of just maybe the beginning of your video, which might be a little boring, maybe find a clip in the middle of your video where you're showing something that this person is excited to see. They were like, wow, I really want to see what this part is in this video. A great example of this is whenever you're on Netflix, right? So when you're on Netflix and you scroll and you look at a potential movie or show to watch, it doesn't just show the first 2 seconds as soon as you land on it. What it'll do is it'll show you almost like the trailer of it. It'll show you the highlights, this scene here and this scene there, and you're like, oh my God, this is really cool. And then it starts playing the beginning of it, right? Because you now are like, I want to get to that part there, which is insane, but in order to get there, I have to essentially start at the beginning. So always use a curiosity-driven thumbnail for your video sales letter so that you can have a higher play rate, more people will watch it, more people will become leads, calls, and sales. And if you want, I have a different training that I put just a few weeks ago on exactly our $25 million video sales letter formula that you can check out where I walk through how to create a video sales letter from scratch if you don't know how to make one. Hack number 7 is going to be third-party social proof. So the example I have here is going to be Trustpilot. This is a pretty well understood third party in my industry. It's pretty hard to game Trustpilot. I mean, of course, there's always ways to do that, but it's, I think, more difficult than some of the other review services out there. And so we've been Trustpilot clients for a few years now, and this is where people go to leave reviews after working with us. And we have a third-party one here because if you've heard me talk about the 7-11-4 rule, 7 hours of content across 11 touch points in 4 different locations to turn a stranger into a buyer, well, they shouldn't all be your locations. If everyone's consuming everything about you on your pages, then they're going to feel a little bit like it's biased, which it obviously is. You're never going to say, I'm not a great person. You're always going to say, you're a great person. But if you can go to third-party websites, then those are going to obviously give maybe a more unbiased viewpoint of you, and so people are going to be more likely to read that. That's why publications that I have up top here also work really well. That's another example of third-party social proof. Another example of third-party social proof would be if you're on other people's podcasts or other people's shows. Well, now these people are transferring some of their trust over to you, and you seem like more of a trustworthy guy because that person seems like a trustworthy guy, which I'm going to talk about more of that a little bit later. Okay, now before we go to number 8, let me also say that if you're watching this video and you want to know how you can use simple videos like these to generate over $100,000 a month in your coaching, consulting, agency, or service-based business, be sure to go down below and watch actually the video that I'm talking about in this video here and potentially book a call to speak with us where you can learn how we can install our entire content marketing system in your business. Trick number 8 is going to be a benefit-driven call to action. A lot of people will put stuff like, ready to work with us or schedule your consultation below. And the problem with this is that's not very sexy. That's not very appealing. Everybody knows the basics of marketing 101 is sell the benefits, not the features. So instead of me saying, apply to work with us or book your consultation call below, I say ready for consistent 100K plus months. By saying that, I'm saying, well, for the people that are ready for a consistent 100K plus months, then this is your next step right here. So it's way more benefit driven, and so that's going to be way more likely in order to get someone to click that button. Another example could be like ready to get in the best shape of your life, ready to be an industry leader, ready to close more deals, ready to hire a virtual assistant, ready to hire a salesperson, ready to blah, blah, blah. If you say any of that benefit driven at the top of the call to action, you'll have a way higher click-through rate for the actual call to action. Trick number 9 is a little subtle, but incredibly important. You can see right here I say schedule a demo call. Now, why do I say schedule a demo call and not a consultation? That is because we have the data that backs up that, at least for us, whenever we were saying schedule a consultation, our sales cycle was longer, meaning how long it takes to close a lead, and our close rate was lower. Now, why would that be? That's because the whole point of marketing is to frame somebody correctly for sales. That's why marketing should be doing like 80 to 90% of the work. And if you are framing somebody as this is a free consultation, just even by using the word free there, but using the word consultation, then they're going in there thinking, well, let me just get this free advice from this person. And this is even more critical when you are acquiring clients through contents, because people are used to getting a lot of value from me. And so they just want to hop on a call and get more value from either myself or my team. So we remove the word schedule a free consultation. Instead, we say schedule a demo call. So a demo call is going to be more along the lines of let me demonstrate what we can do for you, right? And that is going to imply that you're going to want to work with us. Another really great example of wording that can happen in your call to action can be apply to work with us. Now, that's going to be below the ready for consistent 100K plus months. So desirable state, ready for consistent 100K plus months, and then a direct call to action that is setting the frame for the sales call, apply to work with us or schedule a demo call. So now people are getting on there saying, I want to work with you guys, let me learn what it would look like to work with you, let me make sure it works for me, instead of, oh, I'm just kind of thinking about doing things and let me just get some free advice from your sales team. Trick number 10 is going to be to add a track record if you have it. You can see I put in this one, 2,000 plus businesses successfully served. So if you have a good track record, so let's say more than 50 businesses, then put it on there, because people don't want to be the first to try something. Nobody wants to be the first to test something out if they don't know if it's going to work or not. And so if they're seeing you for the first time and you have no case studies, no testimonials, and they don't know if you've ever worked with somebody before, then it's really hard to get somebody to work with you. And if you don't believe me, listen to this story. When I first started my advertising agency about 4 years ago, I legitimately cold called and cold emailed thousands of medical spas and plastic surgeons in the United States. And I was working for free. I was begging them to allow me to work for them for free at no cost out of their pocket. And they still wouldn't let me work for them, even though there was no cost to them. Why? Because I was begging them, because I had no case studies or testimonials. So nobody wanted to be first. Now, compare that to today, where I have thousands of wins, case studies, testimonials, client interviews, et cetera, and now we have people coming to me, happy to pay us money. So if you have social proof, don't be afraid to put it on your sales funnels. For number 11, we're going to get a little bit deeper into human psychology, and we're going to talk about something known as the halo effect, okay? So what is the halo effect? The halo effect is the idea that if somebody has certain personalities or certain traits, and that person is seen with you or associated with you, then it is assumed that you have those same personalities or traits, right, or characteristics. So if someone is super successful and you're seen with a successful person, then they consider you successful. If somebody is a scumbag and a loser and a scam artist and you're seen with that person, then you're seen as a scumbag, a loser, and a scam artist. So that's why you have to be very, very intentional with who you're seen with, who you surround yourself with, what podcasts you get on, what masterminds you speak at, what events you attend, because if someone knows that you're there, there's going to be all these preconceived notions. Now, how do we use this for your business and your sales pages? Well, you can see here that I have a bunch of people below this that are either clients of mine or friends of mine or people that I've spoken with that have said nice things about me, and I put their kind of quotes or testimonials of their experience with me, whether, like I said, it's literally just a friend or it's people that are my clients, and I put this inside of here, and I also added their version of social proof in my industry, which is going to be followers, right? Especially if I'm selling an offer, teaching people how to build a personal brand, then I can say, hey, if you want to learn how to build a personal brand, not only do I have a pretty decent personal brand that I make millions of dollars from, but here are all these people that have millions of followers that are also having decent sized personal brands, right? And so these aren't even like, people aren't even saying like Ravi made me $10 million tomorrow. It's just people saying like, here's Ryan Dye saying, Ravi helped me 10x my YouTube subscribers in 6 weeks and generate high quality leads on Meta, high quality leads for 40% less than what I was paying for before, right? So like that's an example of a client where Dan Martell is not a client of mine, but I had Dan Martell over at my house and we had a great podcast together. I had him on my podcast. And so he said, Ravi is super nerdy about systems. I get to talk about him with things I don't usually get to talk about. So even though Dan's not my client, I am essentially saying that, hey, Dan spent time with me and Dan has a great brand. And so I can put Dan on my landing page and people can think, well, if Dan's great, then Ravi must be great as well, okay? So this is called the halo effect. Now, if you don't have anybody that's really great in your industry that people would know that you can put on here, well, then work on doing that, right? The only reason I have these people is because A, I built a great business, or B, I built a great brand, and so people are willing to come on my podcast or hang out with me. If you're saying, oh, I can't get around these kinds of people right now, then you're probably not worthy of getting around those people. So then work on yourself until you're worthy on getting around those people. And the other way that you can do it is you can pay to join masterminds and programs where you're going to easily see other people. I all the time when I'm speaking other people's masterminds, I have people come up and ask to take a photo with me, and then I see that photo online. And so that's a way that people leverage that kind of stuff if you want to kind of pay to play instead. Okay, so for number 12, let's actually talk about what I consider to be the coolest way to do testimonials, and it is called a super cut. And what a supercut is it is essentially a bunch of testimonials all jammed together into one video. So if you're like me, and I think at this point we have, oh man, hundreds of video testimonials from our clients, instead of trying to throw hundreds on the page, what I can do is almost create this little montage of client testimonials. So I pull out some of the best ones, and my editing team works to make it really cool. So if you were to watch this video on my page, it says something like, Ravi, 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 Ravi. It says like 15 times, and then it says, help me make $1 million, $30,000, $300,000, $200,000. So then boom, 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 all these different people all saying these different things, and it's like overwhelming the amount of social proof. And I only see like 1 or 2 other people do these videos, and it's really not that hard to do. I mean, my editing team did it in like 2 days, and this is probably one of our most watched videos on our sales page. So it's super simple, and if you have a lot of testimonials, figure out how you can mash them all together in a really, really sexy way that makes somebody watch through the entire thing. Because if instead you wanted somebody to watch a testimonial where someone's like, hey guys, what's going on? Ravi here. Just wanted to say I was working with Bob. Bob is the man. Bob's cool. I help out. You're going to have like the retention curve is going to be like, straight down to the ground, right? Versus the dopamine-filmed fast action world that we're all used to today, you can make it way better of a retention curve if you use the supercut instead. And for lucky number 13, we're going to talk about my second favorite style of social proof, and that is going to be case study interviews. So these are also on my landing pages and my sales pages, and this is something that I have been doing for the past few months with incredible results. We used to have a bunch of written case studies on our website, and we used to have a bunch of video testimonials on our website of people, like I said a second ago, kind of shooting a video for me, but these have been fantastic, and they're fantastic for a few different reasons. I'd say first and foremost, they're fantastic because it's my face, and people are coming for my content, and I want them to see my face as many times as possible. That's essentially what branding is, in a very simple term, is that they're getting impressions from you over and over and over again, and they're associating those impressions with certain feelings and actions, et cetera, et cetera. So right here, they're seeing my face, and this person saying, I saw success, Ravi's face. I saw success, Ravi's face. I saw success, Ravi's face. So now they're attributing my face with success in this industry, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is that most testimonials, as I showed you a second ago, suck. Most people are terrible at giving testimonials. That's why anytime I give testimonials, I always go above and beyond. Like, you know, I have people that are using my testimonials as ads that legitimately I did like one thing with this person for 1 hour and it wasn't even that amazing, but I purposely give incredibly valuable testimonials because that's what I want people to give back to me, okay? So whenever I'm getting on these case study interviews, I can pull out of people what I want them to say. So if I know, for example, that Hunter here, that we helped him 3x his business in 6 months while actually working less than before because he told me that on a one-on-one call or he told me that through Slack, then I can get on a call and say, Hunter, why don't you tell us how I helped you 3x your business in less than 6 months working less than you were before, right? If I helped Rory here enroll 46 new high-ticket clients in 30 days, why don't we talk about that? Instead of him saying like, yeah, Ravi, it's really great to work with you, right? So most people are kind of a little guarded, and this way I can come out and I can pull out the answers from them that I want to. And this makes for really, really great case study interviews. And the other great thing about this that I love is at the end of every one of these interviews, I say, hey, let's assume somebody's on a sales page watching this video right now. I know that's what's happening. So I say, what would you say to that person if they're thinking of working with scalable systems? And everybody says the same thing, of course. Oh, just do it. Don't be afraid. It was the best money I ever invested, blah, 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 right? So these people are doing the selling for me on my own sales page, right after the person that's watching the video just heard them talk about all the money they made and all the success they were seeing inside their business. If you want my help building an incredibly simple but highly scalable and profitable content system so that you can generate high-ticket clients from your content, be sure to go down below and book a call to speak with myself or my team today.